we just had the recap of the last class. So today's topic will be variables, data types. Under this we have two categories. One is called value type, one is called reference type. Topic number 1. Topic number 2 will be data type casting. When we say data type casting, it is converting one data type to another. If you remember last class, when I collected the data from user, asking that, hey, can you please enter the radius? User entered the radius in something like 2.3. But compiler is understanding that 2.3 is just like double quote 2.3, because everything will be treated like string when we are getting it through some command called console.readline. So how to convert that string data to decimal? We said convert.toDecimal, something like that. But that is one example, small example. But today we'll see, just like convert.toDecimal, what are all other data types conversions. So we have 4 category of conversions or casting. One is implicit casting, one is explicit casting, one is boxing, and one is unboxing. So this right side part is the detail part. This left side is the topic part. So first we will see what are all various variables and data types and how we categorize them as value type and reference type, and what is the difference, technical difference between them. So topic is variables and data type. So last class we discussed little, but just for our sake of small introduction example, we said let's take decimal, other data types we will see next class like that. That nodes which is containing all the data types I have already shared through Google Drive. So I will open that nodes and we will discuss on top of that. So those who missed the class, guys, detailed analysis what we discussed is there in the top here, and somewhere here there is something called variables and data types. These are all variables and data types. So value type and reference type, 2 categories we will be discussing today on this in detail. So you can see here S byte, byte, sort, U sort, integer, U integer. So these are all available data types in C#. Now question arises, why we need this data type? Why we need this variable? Just a recap, we have discussed it, but just a recap. Anybody remembers why we need a variable, guys, for any programming? Anybody remembers? Yeah, to store the value or any data in the memory. Okay, so what kind of memory it stores? We discussed random access memory. Okay, it's not hard disk or so, it is random access memory, or we say it as main memory. So each data that I want, it will store first in the random access memory in the computer. After that only our program will pick it from there and then work on that data. So for deciding how much memory I need in the random access memory, sometimes 8-bit, sometimes 16-bit, sometimes 32-bit, that's why we have all these data types. When I will take int, just an example I am taking, when I will take int, that indicates it will reserve 32-bit memory in the random access memory, and range of the data you can enter is between this to this, minus this to plus this. Imagine in your class there are only 100 students, and I said you take a variable called roll number to store the student's roll number. Think from a real-time prospect. Okay, data type is in front of you, all the list of data type. Now if I will ask you, in a class there are 100 students and you have to store every student's roll number in a variable called roll, roll. And if I will ask you which data type is preferable, if you understand it correctly, can you please suggest me which data type should be preferable as per the range of the data, memory of the data, etc.? Anybody? Byte is fine. Yes. Why integer? If you take integer, no doubt your work will happen, because which can store 100, that can also store this, which can store more than 2 lakhs, that can also store 100, that no doubt about it. But unnecessary, na? 32-bit wastage of memory. If 8-bit is working for us, why should 32-bit will take? That's why I should go for byte. Very simple. Why you didn't suggest S byte actually? Because it's storing minus value also. Why you will go for minus value? Have you ever seen roll number minus? No. So byte is the perfect choice. So like that you have to decide that based on our requirement, which data type should be preferably taken. One more example I will ask. Suppose I want to go for a mobile number. Tell me which data type will you prefer? All the data type is there in front of you. So integer. Anybody else? She said integer. Is it correct? Uint also. Okay. If you see integer, how many digits? Maximum range 10 digit, right? And starting with 2. So don't you think some of the mobile numbers will be starting with 9 also, 8 also, with 10 digits? So do you think this integer will capable to hold all the mobile numbers? No, I don't think so. Can you see 10 digits starting with 2? You can see here 10 digits starting with 4. Chance is there it may not store all the mobile numbers, because its maximum range is up to this. Long will be the perfect choice. So like that you have to think and decide. Okay, so once you started working on this data, then based on the real-time requirement, you will be coming to know that for my data, taking range, taking minimum memory size, which will be the perfect choice. Now let's go for why they categorized value type and reference type. Then we will go to Visual Studio and practically implement them. Have a look below. I have string and object, 2 data type. They have categorized as reference type. All other data type are to see here: integer, decimal, double, float, character, boolean, byte, s byte, everything. They categorize it as value type. Let me tell you what is the technical difference of this categorization. So let me check whether I started recording. Yeah. So we have 2 categories. One is value type, one is reference type. Bit theoretical but important. After that we will implement it in practically. Value type is nothing but fixed memory type. How do you mean? If you go to the list, you can see it is saying that, hey, integer means always it is 32-bit. Byte means always it is 8-bit. Short means always it will be 16-bit. This is called fixed memory size. But when you go for reference type, it is saying variable length. Variable length means memory has not been decided. Even length or range of the data has not been decided. Sometimes what happens, you don't have idea about the length or number of characters. Imagine I will go for something called address. How can you say it will be 10 digit or 5 digit or 7 digit? Your address might be 200 character, my address might be 500 character. So we need flexibility in the number of characters. Then we have to go for something called reference type. So reference type indirect meaning is not a fixed memory. It is called dynamic memory allocation. That means you enter 20 character, it should say yes, I'm okay. I enter 200 character, it should say yes, I'm okay. Somebody else entered 1000 character, it will say fine, no problem. But if you go for value types like integer, character, boolean, float, etc., you just saw that every data type of value type, they have already predefined range. It is saying 0 to 255, I'm okay. Less than 0, I cannot store. More than 255, I cannot store. Who says? Byte. So it is a fixed memory, fixed range data type. So why only fixed memory? I will say fixed memory with fixed range data type. Range means how many character. Memory means how much bit or byte. Similarly, reference type says dynamic memory allocation as well as flexible number of character or flexible range of data. We have no idea whether 20 digit will come or 200 digit will come or 5 digit will come. We have no idea. Then you have to go for a reference type category. So reference type category is of two variables and data types. That is, one is string and one is object data type. Going forward, we have a chapter called classes and objects. Okay, so there we will see there is something called class. So here let me write it, but you will not understand today, you will understand it later. So all classes are also falling under reference type. So this particular sentence, obviously you will not understand it today, because when we will understand classes, what is a class, then you will understand. But string and object we are going to implement today. And example of fixed memory or value type is integer, byte, character, float, etc. decimal. For detailed list of data types, already I am going to share this. In fact, it has already put in the Google Drive. So let's make use of this, whatever theoretically we discussed, in a practical manner. That means I will try to enter some roll number. I will take byte. I will try to enter some marks. I will take either decimal or float or double. These are all different range, but all are with decimal places. Pass or fail if you want to take, you can go for boolean, true or false, something like that. Mobile number if you want to take, you can go for long. So some data we will be using in a practical manner, and there you will see scope of data type casting. Okay, so simply data type understanding is not enough. You will see something called data type casting, importance of data type casting. Then we will come to this and learn in detail. So let's go to Visual Studio. So those who are newcomer, before proceeding this, I will suggest, once you go through the previous video, what I have shared, so that you will not face any difficulty. So I came to project, I create a new project, and you can see C# is already selected because yesterday we selected it. Windows is already selected, and console application is already selected as per last class. I used to say yesterday, but yesterday there was no class. That is day before yesterday. So I selected .NET Core and then say click on next. So I will create a new project, and the project name I will give it as variables underscore data types. Okay, variables underscore data types, and here I will give the location where I want to save the project. Then click on create. So it may take little time, and let it create. I can see somebody has raised the hand. Shubham, you have some question? .NET Framework is only supported for Windows operating system, but we are working with the advanced version, .NET Core. Okay, you can select .NET Framework also, same thing will only come, but the difference is that project will only support in Windows platform, not in Linux or Android or iOS or Mac, anywhere. So today, correct, in this course little bit introduction is there about .NET Framework, but since it is old one, but in our course everything we are learning up to date version, so 99% cases you will be selecting .NET Core only. Okay, so I just created the project, and you can see using system namespace bit we discussed about these things last class. So more about it we will see little later when we will be covering classes, objects, namespace, and so on. Let's implement today's program. Give me a minute, I will just take attendance. Srivas, you have raised the hand. You have any question? Yeah, that is the platform independency, and one more is called open source. Your .NET Framework was licensed version, and your .NET Core is completely open source. You don't need to have a license for .NET Core version. It is completely open source. They have something called GitHub repository. They used to give everything under that. They collaborated with GitHub. GitHub is a separate company, and they provided it through open source. So previously people were saying, hey, I don't have .NET licensing, but now nobody says I don't have licensing. All are open source. You can download and use it. Many differences. Major difference is operating system independency, but when you say library level, many differences are there to make it available to all operating system. Because nowadays you might have seen, if you go for a mobile application, how many percentage of users are using Windows Phone, right? If Microsoft will be stick to their own technology, saying that, hey, we don't care about other operating system, we only care about Windows, then how much business they will get in market, right? So they adopted platform independency in .NET Core. To avail that, lot of library oriented levels changes they did, compilation oriented changes they did, memory management oriented changes they did. But yeah, at the beginning we will be not learning everything, because all will be theoretical and it will be boring. So time to time, when this chapter will need, that time we will be learning those things. All right, so let's come to our topic. What I will do is I will create a question, okay, and we'll solve that question, which will be using maximum of these variables, data types. Then we will need something called typecasting. After that we'll go to detailed part of the typecasting. So question is something like this: accept roll number, name. I'm planning in such a way that every data I will take up different data types. Roll number, I will take integer or so. Name, I will take string. Marks, I will take decimal or so. Maybe some other thing I will take just like boolean. Okay, I will say pass or fail, something like result. So few things I will take here: roll number, name, marks, result. Accept it means ask user to enter. Display them in a single sentence. That means user entered roll number 120, something like that. Name, he entered something called let's say Sumit. Marks, he entered something called 95, and so on. But I need all of them in a single sentence. So here we need something called knowledge of placeholder. Okay, so how to use placeholder. For sake of that, I said please display in a single sentence using placeholder. So let's go to our solution and accept these things first. So before accepting, accept means ask user to enter. Before accepting, you have to declare it. Declare it means you have to reserve the memory in the random access memory. So coming to our Visual Studio solution, this is our program, right? This is our program, main program. Compiler will always come here, and then whatever coding you are writing here, it will be executed, right? So bit space I will give, some 4-5 lines of the coding we will be typing here. So first step, most of developers, I mean mainly freshers, they face this issue to start the program. How to start the program, right? So always remember, before starting the program, you think input, processing, output, like I explained last class. So first thing is input. In this program, what input is required to the program? Obviously, 4 input you got here. User has to enter roll number, name, marks, and result. So at least you got a point to start it. Declaring roll, name, marks, result. If roll is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, why should I take decimal? I should take byte or s byte or integer. If doubt, just open this note, check it out, cross check with your customer. You are saying roll number, can you please tell me how many students are maximum in the class? They will say, okay, 1000 students are there. Then suddenly you will think, then s byte is not possible. I will take short short. Something like that, you have to plan it out. So I took suppose short short roll. Why? I assume perhaps around more than 1000 students are there. Then I will take string name. This is value type because I know roll number is a limited data. 1000 students are there, so I decided that this is perfectly fine for me. So why should I go for any reference type? But name, how can I say name will be 5 character or 50 character or 100 character or so? So I will go for a string data type, name. Then it is demanding us marks. Marks is something you can think numeric. So numeric is of 2 types, either round number or with decimal. So ask your customer, do you want decimal place also? They will say yes. 95.5 is also allowed, but more than 100 is not allowed. Suppose they are saying like that. Then I have to think, okay, more than 100 not allowed because 100 is the maximum marks, but decimal is allowed. Which is the perfect choice for me? Check it out. You can see float is there, double is there, decimal is there. So minimum data is float. With decimal, minimum data is float. You can take float. Imagine they are saying, no. Total marks is 5000 marks. It may be even more than that. So I don't want to limit in the memory. I want extended. Highest how much you can give it. Then give decimal. Okay. So based on your requirement of customer, you have to choose the respective data type. So suppose I don't want to limit on the decimal places or left side to the decimal places. So I can go maximum size, that is decimal. So let's go for decimal. So here I will go and check it as decimal marks. Like that, how many data you want, go on declaring that. You said something called true for pass, false for fail. So boolean. Okay, boolean is a data type which only stores true or false. So I will say result. Result is true, result is false. True means pass, false is fail. Like that, you have to decide and take the data types. If 2 data are of same data type, you can give a comma also like this. Comma, serial number, comma, seat number. Something like that also you can do. No problem. But this time we don't have as such. All 4 are of different data type. So I took different data type. Arul, is it old one or you have some doubt? I can see a raise hand. Are you speaking? I'm not able to hear you. Neha, you have some doubt. I can see raise hand, but you are not speaking. Yeah. Mhm. Absolutely. You can do. Completely yours. Okay. So check the range, check the data, check the memory, whichever preferable, based on the requirement, you can take it. Usert, absolutely fine, because it is doubling. Yeah, it is 32,000 something. It is just double of that, and it is ignoring minus side. Okay, so same 16 bit, but since it is ignoring minus side, so it become double of that. So absolutely fine, you can take usert also, no problem. All right, so let's accept now. Second part of the program is accept the data. Accept the data means ask user to enter. So I will say console.writeLine, enter roll number, then I will say roll equal to console dot read line. This is the general practice, but you will see one error here. In fact, we have discussed about this error last class. Matter is how many of you have remembered it. So anybody remembers what we discussed about this error? I remember there decimal marks we have taken or something, we have taken decimal, and it was saying console.readline error. Then we did some convert.to decimal. So anybody remembers why that convert.to decimal or convert.to integer, etc.? Yeah, that is what the data type casting. So today I wrote two topics, right? Variables data type as well as type casting. Why so? Because complete knowledge of variable data type you can get only if you have the knowledge of data type casting. So both are interrelated each other. So let's little discuss about this data type casting, and parallelly we will implement both of them. Basically what happens when you accept any data from user, console.readline is fine, no doubt about it. This is meant for that, to get the data. But if you take the mouse there, can you see it is saying I will get anything that user is entering, but anything may be 1 2 3 4, it may be ABCD, it may be with decimal, it may be true or false. How can I come to know what user is entering? So I will store everything in a string, because string is the data type which is allowing ABCD also, 1 2 3 4 also, space also, anything. Now as a developer, it is your own responsibility. Taking that data, you convert as per left side. My left side is integer or sort, so I will convert to sort. Left side will be string, no need to convert. Left side decimal, I have to convert to decimal. Left side boolean, I have to convert to boolean. Why for string no need? Because readline is already string. It is giving me string. So if name I want to accept, it will never ask me this error. Have a look. Imagine before accepting roll number, suppose I want to ask user, enter your name. Enter your name. Now check it out. Name equal to, when you say console.readline, it never show any error here. Reason is left side also string, right side also string. So for any expression, if both the left side and right side of the equal to symbol is same data type, then you don't need anything called typecasting. But by the way, if it is different and this is different, then you need something called typecasting. And typecasting is very simple, guys. No need to take pressure. Very simple. This is string. Left side is what? Sort. That means kind of integer. Numeric means integer. How much memory it is taking? 16 bit. So integer of 16 bit. So just go here and say convert dot to integer with 16 bit. Integer 32 bit means one more category. Integer 64 bit means one more category. If you see here, a long 64-bit, uint 32-bit, and so on. So I said my data type is short, so I will convert to 16-bit. If I will convert to 32-bit, what will happen? It will show again error saying that, hey, left side you have short which can maximum consume 16-bit memory, and you are converting to 32-bit memory of integer. Not possible. You convert it to 16. So I converted to 16-bit integer type. That means user might have entered roll number is 230, but computer understood it like double quote 230, and I converted that double quote 230 to simply 230, and that simply 230 will be go and store in the roll. That is why this typecasting is required. So what is the general idea about data typecasting? If any equal to symbol, any expression equal to symbol, left side data type and right side data type is not same, then right side data type should be converted as per left side data type. Now if you understood correctly, you help me imagine my data type of roll number is, for example, suppose long. It is not right way, long is very big number, but suppose it is long, then what should I do here? If you understood correctly, convert to integer of 64. So you have to do it like this. So convert dot to integer, definitely integer, because short also integer, long also integer, int also integer, byte also integer. Integer means generally in mathematical terminology round number. So I want round number, but how much bit? 64 bit. So 2 int of 64 bit. It is 2 uint. It is not uint, na? It is int 64. So I will go for int 64. Okay. So absolutely fine. Similarly, suppose my data type is ushort. Then I have to go for uint 16, uint 32, like that. Okay. So again I will revert it to short, S-H-O-R-T, and here I will say please convert to 16-bit and store it in roll number. Anybody has any question mark here? No. What is your name? Yeah, Ramana, tell me. Absolutely. If you take the mouse here, you can see always it will take like a string. Whether you enter 1, 2, 3, 4, still it will think string 1, 2, 3, 4. That means just like this it will think. Okay. So to convert that to integer, you have to write convert dot to integer, convert dot to something. So read line always takes any data as a string. Any other question? Anybody? I can see some raised hands. If it is old one, you can just click again so that it will go. Otherwise, it will confuse me, guys. Yeah. Gino, you have some question? Good question. Signed is allowing both plus as well as minus. Okay. You can see here ushort, right? Ushort, that U stands for unsigned only. Short means signed short, ushort means unsigned short. That means unsigned means no negative, only positive. Short means both negative as well as positive. So uint means unsigned int, no sign is required, only plus, 0 onwards only, minus is not possible. So that is called unsigned. So minus, there is no memory for storing that minus symbol. So it says unsigned. Only positive numbers can be entered into that. Alright, so I accepted name as well as roll number. Similar way, you can accept other things also, if any. Okay, so should we go ahead with this too? Because others are also similar. To finish it quickly, I reduce it to two variables. Now question arises, both the variables I want to display in a single sentence. Okay. If I want to display in two sentences, it's fine. Console.writeLine, I will say, name. Again, console.writeLine, I will say role. But my question is not saying that. My question is saying, please display both in same sentence. So there is something called placeholder. One good concept is there behind this. Carefully understand it. Memory management concepts. Okay, I will open Excel sheet to make you understand better. These are all basic concepts, guys. Most of you might be knowing, but just cross check if anything new you are getting. Okay, but don't ignore. Chances there something new you may get it. Suppose this is my random access memory. Okay, this yellow color highlighted area is my random access memory. Now, if you go for any programming language, they use plus symbol to concatenate or combine many things. So, for example, suppose somebody says name with roll number I want to display in a single sentence. C language, C++ language, any language you go, they used to say just like this: name is plus name and marks, what is that? Roll number is plus roll number. Okay, if anybody might have learnt any language before, you must be aware about it, that plus is used for combining many things into a single sentence. Absolutely fine. Here also it will work, no doubt about it. But this is not a good practice. So console.read key, just to take the mouse over there and see the output. Let me run this program and see how this is perfectly working fine, but still this is not a good practice. So why we are here? Not only just learning the basic things, but we have to learn the best practices also. So we have to see what is the best practice then. If C language is using, Java is using, C++ is using, what is wrong with that? C# is saying that is not a good practice. There is some other thing called good practice. So name is suppose Ajit and roll number is suppose 102. It is displaying as per our requirement. Name is Ajit and roll number is 102. What's wrong with this? Let's understand what is wrong with this. Suppose in random access memory, it got a reservation of the space here, whose name is name. And it got a reservation of the space here, whose name is roll number. I will give a different color for your understanding. Alright. Let's make little bigger. Name you entered Sumit, no problem, or Ajit just now you entered. So it took that Ajit and stored it here. And roll number I entered 102, it took it and stored it here, no doubt about it. When you are using plus, what happens, whenever you are using plus for combining many things, it understands automatically that perhaps one value called Ajit is going to be modified with one more value called 102. That's why to keep original value safer, that plus symbol has one internal activity. It says, I will reserve one more space there. Something like this. I will give a different color. Let's say blue color. So that plus symbol, it generates one more memory space here. And it says, I will not disturb this and this, because there is a plus symbol means it's a concatenation, combination. That combined data, I will store it here. Ajit, then space 102. Plus means, okay. Where it is storing that data? In the random access memory again. This is RAM. Complete yellow color area, I assume that it is random access memory. But do you need this in future? No. Your intention is you combine it and display it on the screen. Yeah. I don't need a separate memory location to keep it permanently. Because my question is asking, you give input Ajit and you give input 102. But that output No need to permanently keep it in a separate memory space. Who knows, tomorrow one more, variable is called max. Here I entered max is 98. So suddenly what it is doing? It is reserving one more space here like this. It is saying, I'm not going to disturb the existing one. I will keep one more space called Ajit space 102 space 98. So how many variables you are going to concatenate by plus, 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 that many times it is going to reserve one more location, one more location, one more location, because that plus symbol indicates going to modify the original data. So instead of disturbing the existing, I will go for another reservation of the memory. Okay. So tell me, if I'm using plus symbol and this is taking some, assume it is taking some 4 digit means 8 bit, this is taking integer means some 32 bit, this is taking integer means some another 32 bit. So 32 plus 32 plus 8, okay, 40 plus 32, 72 memory. So one line it is taking 72 memory, again another line, 72 into 3, almost similar to that, it is taking the memory space. Now I will tell you one technique now, where this and this is not required. This and this is not required. Original data will be original data. Pick it up from there and just display, concatenate in the runtime. No need to permanently store into the random access memory and display it. Now you will ask me, sir, what is harm if you are storing some data in random access memory? But think about multi-user application. Imagine you are accessing yahoo.com. Are you the only one? Lakhs of students, lakhs of users are accessing across the world, right? Yahoo.com. So one guy, if they are taking some extra 72 bit of memory or 80 bit of memory, 1 lakh user, how much bit of memory will go? So most of the data will be reserved in the random access memory unnecessarily. The moment random access memory will be almost occupied, then your application will be definitely slow, because how much more memory in the random access memory, the system will be faster. And you will complain to your developer saying that, hey, your system is very slow. Yeah. So as a developer, you have to follow best practice. You have to use something called placeholder. So how to use placeholder so that unnecessary memory I don't want to reserve, with the original location I want to pick it, runtime I want to concatenate and display. I don't want to store those data again in separate line and separate line in the random access memory. That is called placeholder. Concept is bit techy, you have to understand, but program is very easy. See how I am doing. I will comment this line, or I will delete this line, because I have not taught you what is comment. So I will delete this line. I don't want this line. Okay. I want different way. I don't want to waste the memory space. So I have to say same console.writeLine. Guys, some sound is coming. Arul and San. I'm just muting it. So console.writeLine. Similar sentence I will write. I will say name is. Okay. After name is, suddenly I was using a plus symbol, right? I will not use plus symbol. I will give a curly bracket 0 position. That position number is called placeholder. It is something like I have not decided the data, but position number I decided. This curly bracket is going to give some extra meaning to this 0. If I will simply say 0, it is something like display 0. But if I will say curly bracket 0, it will say don't display 0. Display position number as 0. Take it position number as 0. Name is position number 0 and role is position number 1. Just like when you are going to watch movie in a theater, your ticket is there, right? Ticket in ticket 1, 2, 3, 4, like that it I might have written, right? So you are going, identifying your seat number and then sitting there. Same way, this guy called name, is first one, this guy called role is the second one. So this name will say, hey, I am first position. So I will go and check where is the 0th position and I will sit over there. So it will go and sit here and this will go and sit there. As a whole, how many double quote you used? Only once open and once close. Did you use any plus 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 with more and more double quotes? No. Then why should random access memory unnecessarily reserve another string, another string, another string, and so on? So this is going to reserve only one location, but because of this curly bracket, it will understand that, hey, this is not the data, this is the position number. So somebody will come and sit in my position number. Then how it will be decided? Name will come or roll number will come? Left to right. Left to right. This is 0, this is 1, next will be 2, next will be 3, and so on. Any number of position number you can give as per your requirement. Same will be treated here left to right. Maybe syntax wise, those who are C programmer, C++ programmer, Java programmer, you might be thinking, why unnecessary 0, 1, 2, 3, 4? It was easy in Java saying plus, 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 plus. But definitely you are going to get much benefit. That is what the advanced programming language and best practice is all about. So I used placeholder because I don't want to waste 72 bit into 3. I want everything to arrange inside that 72 memory only. That is called placeholder. Okay. I just deleted that line, what I have written there. Okay. That plus, 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 right? Let me tell you, there is something called comment, guys. If I have 2 lines, but I want to execute only 1 line, then I can comment the other line like this. Okay. Separate topic is there called comments, but just quick idea is, if the moment I gave this double slash, my compiler will understand that this line not to be executed. This is just for users information. I don't want to execute this, I want to execute this. If I will not put this double slash, it will display 2 times. Both will be same only because sentence is same, but I don't want this line. I kept it just for a contrast between first and second. Let's run it and see what it is doing as per our understanding. Then if any doubt, we can debug and check what it is doing, where it is doing. So I gave the name as, suppose, Amit. I gave roll number as 76. I press enter. Have a look. As per our expectation, it is working. Without using plus, plus, plus also it is working. So why should I use plus, plus, plus to occupy extra memory? So name is Amit and roll is 76. If I'll use the other one, that will also work, no problem. But it has been seen that in the random access memory, that occupies more memory comparing to the second approach. So if you are searching somewhere in Google and you are finding that, plus, 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 doesn't matter. You understand there, but while you are developing anything, you must not follow that plus, plus, plus for concatenating. Both are correct only, but if you ask best practice, then the second one is the best practice. I can see one raised hand. You have any question? This is for holding the cursor. If you delete this and run it, what will happen? It will show the output, but it will come back to the program. So have a look. AAA is the name. Roll number is 9. I press enter. Have a look. It displayed the output, but suddenly it came back to the program. I didn't get a chance to read that output. So it is saying read a key. Then I will continue. Read a key. So read key. So it will wait there to read a key. After that only it will proceed. So this time it will wait there. Can you see that cursor is blinking? That is because of that console.read key. Okay. So it will ask me to press any key. Once I press any key, enter, space bar, ABCD, any one key you press, then it will come back to the program. So that is for the sake of reading the output on the screen. Okay. And then press any key when you are done. Alright, so here we saw something called typecasting, isn't it? Line number 16. Now question of course arises, what else typecasting is there? If this is convert to something, what else typecasting is there? Is there any other way we can typecast it? So that is of 4 variety again. So we got the idea about typecasting definitely, but we don't know what are all other ways of typecasting. Okay, there are 4 category of typecasting: implicit, explicit, boxing, and unboxing. So I think today time will not permit us to continue this, so next class we'll do. But yeah, if anybody has any questions or queries, either last class or today's class, please ask me. I will clarify it, guys.